This morning I saw a podcast. A woman had posted on um, social media somewhere. I don't know. Anyway, she had posted that she had broke up with her man because he didn't have a job. Okay, and you're thinking, well, duh. No, here's the story. He contacted her. I'm pretty sure he texted her and said, "Hey, I just lost my job." She thought about it for a couple of hours. And so then she called him and said, "We're through. We're done. I'm out." And he was like, "Oh, why? I don't understand. Because I lost my job?" And she said, "Yes, we're through. I'm not having nothing to do with a guy. Yeah, no, we're not doing this. I'm out." And she was defending herself and explaining, but she didn't say, okay, this is a pattern with him. He has lost 5 jobs in the last 6 months. He always gets fired. He always has an excuse because his boss is a jerk. She didn't say any of that. She just said he contacted her, said, "I lost my job." And she's like, "That's it. We're done. You don't need to tell me nothing else. We're through." And I thought, man, is that how and she was around 30-ish, young lady. I thought, wow, that'd be tough. Not that I am to the stage where I'm thinking about dating or anything, but male female relationships do cross my mind. And a month or two ago, I was watching a video or old episode of Dr. Phil. Yeah, that's what old people do when they're home during the day. We watch Dr. Phil. Anyway, there was a lady of my generation. She was probably a few years younger than me, but my generation. And she was on there because she's very particular in who she dates. She's been single for a long time. And her adult daughter said she was too particular. She was never going to find a guy. She wants her mom to be happy, but she would never find a guy because she was too particular. And the daughter was really worried about her. "Mom, you're never going to find a man. You're never going to find happiness." This lady's deal breakers were he has to have a job. He cannot live with his mother, which at our age, a lot of times, if a person did live with their mother, that would be an admirable trait because maybe they're taking care of her. So it would depend on the situation. But my dogs want to get into the cat food. No. That he could not live with his mother. He could not be taking care of his adult children. He had to have a car. Oh, and he had to be a Christian man and kind. So she had several, and the daughter was like, "Mom, you're too picky." But everything that the mom said, I completely agreed with. At our age, well, really at any age, women want security. We want to know this guy can take care of us. A preacher years ago, Dr. Miles Monroe, he had a lot of episodes about male-female relationships, marriage, dating, sex. He was so funny. Oh, and he was good. But he said, the safest place a woman should ever be is in her husband's arms. Exactly. That's what women want. For all of our independence and all that, that's fine. But we should be safe in our husband's arms. No, Wyatt. No. He really wants that bowl of cat food. And he'll probably get in it. Anyway, so what do you think? Do you have deal breakers? Gotta have a job. Maybe the young lady who dumped the guy because he lost his job, she might have seen a pattern with him, and she knew that this always happens. He always blames it on his boss. He's lost 5 jobs in the last 6 months. Maybe that was the situation, and she was just, I'm not doing this anymore. That I could understand. But just to dump a guy because he texts you and says, "I lost my job." What if the place burned down? Maybe his factory burned to the ground today, or his retail store that he worked in. Whatever, we don't know. But she didn't ask any of those questions. It was just a deal breaker. He didn't have a job. He lost a job for whatever reason. End of story. He's out. So I think we have to have grace with whatever the situation is, but I can understand certain deal breakers. The older lady and her daughter was saying that she was too picky, she was too particular. The daughter was basically just wanting her to get with a man. She wanted her mom to be happy, she wanted her to be fulfilled. She's still young enough to have a couple decades, with a guy, and she wanted her to be happy. But she thought, Mom, you're never going to find anybody as picky as you are. So, what do you think? Do you have deal breakers? What are your deal breakers? I really can't think of anything besides what this lady said. Has to have a job, has to be a Christian, has to be responsible. I heard a preacher not too long ago. He said, was telling all women, never date a man who is not a worshiper. If he doesn't worship the Lord, don't even spend your time with this guy. Do not waste your time. Totally agree. So yeah, he's got to be a Christian, got to be a worshiper, got to be gainfully employed, got to have his own car. That was on that lady's list. He has to have his own car. It's like, how old is this guy? Of course he would have to have his own vehicle. Yeah, that'd be bad. But anyway, it was just funny. I thought I would share today and see if you have any deal breakers. I really can't think of anything besides the ones that she covered. After I get off of here, I'll probably think of half a dozen. But if you have some deal breakers, and maybe I am wrong, and maybe the younger women do see a pattern with younger men who they lose their jobs constantly, and that does say something. You don't know the situation, but is this part of his pattern of irresponsibility, failure to commit, failure to focus on something? And that could have been the situation with this young man. And if that's the case, I totally get that. But just to call him and say, hey, we're done. You lost your job 2 hours ago. I'm out. I'm not going to waste any more time with you. That seems harsh without knowing the whole story. Maybe she knew the whole story. She just did not tell viewers. But let me know what you think. Leave a comment and just let me know, what is your deal breakers? What are you not going to put up with, whatever age? If you're my generation, or if you're just getting started and you're looking at what you want out of a guy or out of a relationship, let me know. Am I too harsh on the young lady, or do I need a reality check? Like and subscribe, and let me know, what is your deal breaker?